It's homecoming, and Mizzou takes on South Carolina. Pregame show at 4. Bus from Chesterfield Valley leaves at 2, by the way. Pregame at 4, and then the kickoff is at 6 p.m. He'll be calling the game. Mike Kelly, voice of the Tigers, right here on the Big 550 KTRS. Good morning, Mike Kelly.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
I'm great. If Mizzou wins, do they wrap up the Eastern Division of the SEC?
Well, don't necessarily wrap it up completely, but certainly put themselves in a position where they'd be up by 3 games on most people, and would own the tiebreaker over South Carolina, Georgia. So you still have obviously a difficult game the following weekend against Tennessee, and then you go to Kentucky before playing against Texas A&M and Ole Miss. So, it'd give them a leg up with 4 to play, but still a lot of work to do.
All right, good. What do we know about South Carolina? They got some quarterback issues, don't they?
Well, Connor Shaw, their starting quarterback, hurt his leg last week and suffered a knee injury. So he's going to be in uniform. He'll be available. But Dylan Thompson, who was his backup. In fact, Dylan Thompson's a very, very good backup. He came in last year, led them to a win over against Clemson. He was actually the guy that came off the bench and threw the winning touchdown pass in their bowl game to beat Michigan. So had 10 touchdowns a year ago and 2 interceptions. And so he's really good. Here's what South Carolina's going to do. They're going to come in and they're going to challenge Missouri's manhood on both sides of the football. They're going to try and turn it, I think, into a downhill running game. And then if they get the run game going with Mike Davis, who's rushing for more than 120 yards a game, then they'll start throwing the football. And from a defensive standpoint, is can you protect Matt Mock? Because they've got a great defensive front, and on the back end, they'll play a lot of zone coverage.
Matty Mock played well last week, and you would think he just has a little bit more experience this week, so he's only going to get better.
Well, he will get better with time. This will be a challenge this week, and one of the ways that Missouri wins this game is by winning the turnover battle. Matty Mock's got to make good decisions, and the reason why I say that is that, Carolina's zone defense, when he takes the snap and makes his reads, it's going to look like zone when he starts to throw the football. It'll change to man, because what they'll do is they'll drop players off of different zones and flood areas where they think the football is going to. And so you got to be very, very precise and accurate with your throws, and that'll be a challenge for him this week. In addition to understand where pressure is coming from, because they've got a very good defensive front. It'll be a challenge for Missouri.
So South Carolina's going to run. Missouri's defense is good against the run, so it'll be it'll be strength against strength then, more or less.
Well, I think you'll see both from South Carolina. I think they'll establish the run with Mike Davis. At least they'll try to do that. And again, he's rushing for more than 100 yards a game. But then, once they get the run game going, kind of get you back on your heels a little bit, and then they start throwing the football around. And so, Steve Spurrier is a great coach, and I know he'll come in with a great offensive game plan, and it'll be up to Missouri to play better than South Carolina in order to win.
It is homecoming, so you always like to bring home a victory for homecoming, don't you?
Well, and the crowd's got to bring it. I mean, right? The part of the secret to what took place against Florida was just the enthusiasm and the atmosphere inside of Faurot Field. I thought it was better last week than it's ever been in 20 years that I've been involved in doing this thing. And so they've got to follow suit again. They've got to be there loud, be early, get inside the building and make noise.
I heard Gary Pinkel tell you something last week on Tiger Talk on Monday night that was really interesting. He said that if we could stay healthy, we would be a much better team come November, and they've stayed relatively healthy, and they've gotten better and better each and every week.
Well, and they have, and consider this, that they won last week against Florida. And, yeah, Florida had injuries, but Missouri played without 2 captains. They played without their starting quarterback in James Franklin. They played without their best cover corner in E.J. Gaines. And so they've got young guys that are stepping up. And the other side about Matty Mock's challenge this weekend is it's not just Matty that's got to play better. Offensive line's got to play better. The receivers got to play better across the board. Missouri's got to be very good on the offensive side.
You have any comment about the gooey rosin in John Lester's glove?
Hey, if it was, it was. Who cares? They won game 1. It's not like a couple of pitches that he touched his glove was going to make a difference in a blowout loss. And the Cardinals were their own worst enemy. Cardinals, obviously atoned for that last night. But I could care less if the guy was rubbing his glove or not. Did that impact Cosma's ability to catch the ball? Did that impact the communication between Yachty and Wainwright? Get over it. Go win the next 3 at home.
That's Mike Kelly, voice of the Tigers, 6 p.m. kickoff. All that action heard on KTRS. Who's your sponsor, Mike Kelly?
Walter Knoll Florists, they've been doing business in St. Louis since the late 1800s, and they want to become your personal florist. They've got all the design capabilities and everything, inventory that you could possibly imagine. All you need to do is just check them out online at WKF.com. Walter Knoll